we always talk about, as a coach, you have to come from curiosity, right? You can't impart your bias, your judgment, your ideas of what's right. You have to come from curiosity. Same thing as a coaching client. You have to come to a coaching session able to go down different paths and to allow yourself to think in a capacity that you don't have to have the immediate answer, right? Like the snap of your fingers, you're not going to figure out a problem. You have to come from the curiosity of discovering a problem. If we're not going to do that, it's not going to be a good coaching call for somebody, right? They're going to shut down on that. And that's not always a really comfortable process for people. If they're not used to it, that can be we had 0 closings all of a sudden because everything that was an equity sale was no longer. It just sunk. And so every closing then went, okay, now get it back under contract. And it's going to be 3 months till closing, 4 months till closing. And eventually our average time from contract to close was the same amount of time it would take to grow a human in your body. It was 9 months contract to close. And so it was a rough year in 2008 and 2009 for us. And that's just where we started, making money. We adapted. We had to. There were no other choices. And I remember teaching in Canada one time and said, oh, I remember my last equity sale. And I said, well, what's an equity sale? I said, a house where someone has equity in it. It's not a short sale. And they looked at me and went, well, what's a short sale? I said, a house that doesn't have any equity and is probably 5 to 6 digits in the wrong direction. And I remember the look on their faces of just being shocked. And I thought, man, I wish I had sales like that, right? The reality is I love solving those problems and I could bring so much to the table and I could do it until 10 o'clock at night, but there was only one of me. So we looked at it and said, well, how do we get this to everybody? What does this look like? How many people in our company need this type of conversation, this environment to take things further than just the career visioning process? Career visioning is the foundation. And yet, what do we do all this other day-to-day management, leadership, maintenance, development with these people? How do we now take this and make it bigger? And that's where KW Talent kind of came from. It was the pain points of these larger teams. We did focus group after focus group. We did interview after interview. And it was always the people that were the problem. It was also always the people that were the solution. And so we created an environment, KW Talent, to help fix those problems and to help create the education and the environment to allow people to grow these businesses through other people at an incredibly high level.